This is Freedom March.
It's time for Quick Draw. Get out your tickets now. We're playing Quick 2, 3, and 4. Good luck!
This is Freedom March.
is something we are just too wholly leaving to perception by the people that have benefit. No other Bahamian except for a public servant has benefited from the Prime Minister's benevolence, albeit his benevolence couldn't have come from his own coffers. It must have come from the reserves that he's given by the entire nation. And so as a consequence, I honestly feel like every Bahamian that ain't a public servant should march on the teacher them. That's how I feel. I feel like if the teacher them have marched, every other Bahamian in the Bahamas, including Mama them and Colonel Cricket Island, should find out wherever the teacher's marching and march behind the march in the opposite direction of the teachers them. Because it has to be a bit of unfairness for you to suggest to me that it is reasonable for there to be industrial action. I don't mind renegotiation. I don't mind the starting point of new negotiation, but explain to me in a way that is Christian, man, on what premise are we threatening this Prime Minister with industrial action, except for the fact that we know that at 75, the last thing Philip Davis wants to be is leader of the opposition. And I'm telling you, sir, do not let your personal ambition cause these people to put a proverbial gun to your head. Do not permit these people. But man, listen, everything in life you wanted to do, you done do. You done been the best criminal lawyer the country's ever seen. You done get knighted by the king or the queen. You done become leader of the opposition. You done become leader of the Progressive Liberal Party. You done become Prime Minister, and no matter what they say, the history book will reflect that Philip Edward Davis was Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Do not let them pull an unloaded gun on you. Because what is their power at this point? We're 2 weeks away from Christmas. They ain't gonna be able to affect the children for much longer. School ain't gonna open no more till forevermore be. January is 862 days from now, inland. By then, we should be able to come up with something. And I know what you're gonna say. Oh, well, we go into an election in May. We want to keep the people happy. If you get that money in December, Mr. Prime Minister, mark my word, you're gonna have to find money to give them again in March. Let's do a little survey. Find out from them what they do with the $300 they get last week. They can't tell you. They can't tell you. They don't know. They have no clue. And the fact that they're calling it crumbs, in my view, is something that should offend every single Bahamian. Every taxpayer should feel slighted, if not entirely offended, that is the position that the leader of the opposition has taken. Because he ain't give you all no money. Why they ain't gone to some people with some money and give you all some, so they could set a benchmark for us? The president of the union ain't give you all no money. Why they ain't decide that they could take 10% of the dues and hand them out to the members so that all the members could have at least some sort of dividend that, I don't know, that the union is giving out of the goodness of their heart? How come only the Prime Minister one got hard around here? We measuring. Explain that to me. And so, I hope that we are not letting political longevity, Mr. Davis. I hope that we are not simply letting political ambition, Mr. Davis. I hope that we are not simply allowing political self-actualization to cause us to allow people to put an unloaded gun to our head and for us to actually blink. Because I will tell you this, if I were Prime Minister, they would have to pull the trigger on this one for me. And let me see what you all can pull off. And then me and my team will figure out how to mitigate the damage or remediate the damage. But there is no way leaving, if I were Prime Minister, was letting y'all industrial action tell y'all faint. Go ahead. Go ahead. I can be right here. Whenever y'all get up off the ground from fainting, I can be right here, ready to talk. And every time I talk to the press as Prime Minister, over the next 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, I would say that the unions is still a matter that is at the fore of my mind. It is not something that lets me sleep at night. I am actively in my mind considering all of the benefits that I could give to workers in this country. I have proven in good faith that I am prepared to, on every occasion possible, allow the workers of this country benefit. And I am simply waiting on the union to tell me what it is they thought they deserve. They even ain't call a number. That's my question, right? If you all thought 300 was insufficient, if you all thought 2% was insufficient, or 7%, or whatever the number was, well, what your all number is? Do you all even have a proposed number? Or is the plan simply because you know you got the Prime Minister in a position where he would rather just irrationally behave than to run the risk of possibly becoming an old leader of the opposition? Do we anticipate that somehow he should just... I don't even know how to articulate it in words that would... It simply doesn't make sense. What exactly are you all... Do you all even know what you're all asking for? You ain't asked the man for nothing. The man ain't promised you nothing. You ain't negotiate nothing. The man ain't owe you nothing. The man give you something. Something you even ain't know he had. You ask him for it one day. He tell you no, he can give it to you another day. He turn around and give it to you 30 days earlier than that day. How in the name of Jesse James are you still not satisfied? Unless it is an ambush. And unless it doesn't matter what amount of money the Prime Minister had given away, you always come on the other case and light the place on fire anyhow. The Prime Minister could have given you all a bathtub full with the blood of Jesus in it. You all still was going to come out here and row. That is obviously what the position of the union is. And if the union's position is so righteous, right? Let's think about this. If the union's position is so righteous, then why y'all cousins ain't want to join y'all? Are they not teachers and educators as well? Why is BEMU not joining y'all? Do they not work in the same conditions? Do they not have the same struggles? Are they not on the same campuses? Do they not have access to the same equipment? And I get it. It's Bahamas Educators Managers Union. So maybe you could say they principals and senior mistress and blah, 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 blah. But did they not come through the same system? Did they not suffer the same fate? Did they not start where many of your members are? If your position, if your cause is so righteous, man, I love the Bahamas Union of Teachers president with all of my whole heart. I think that she is a gladiator in unionism. I think that when the history books of the Bahamas are written, they can give a 2-page for the life and the legacy that she has built over the years. Matter of fact, she's so good as the Bahamas Union of Teachers president, I almost can't remember what the woman before her did name, and I used to know her name really good. But let us not be unreasonable, man. And let us also not be predatorial, because that is what this reeks of. This is predatorial behavior. That because you know an old man requires the popular vote of the people, and because you know that he would quite possibly prefer to lose a limb than to be an old man as leader of the opposition, and because you know that the last thing he wants in this life is to go and have to panhandle to Michael Pintar as the Prime Minister, you believe that it is ethically and morally correct to try to back this man into a corner. And I just think that there's something unchristian about it. I think this is unchristian behavior, and it is something that we have to check at the very core, because I do not think it aligns itself with who we in fact are as a nation, as a people. And I don't understand how and or why this is reasonable or justifiable behavior. I do not understand how and or why. Is this something that is even being discussed in the public domain? I don't understand how and or why any right-thinking Bahamian, any person that works for a living, any person that's ever been on a job, any person that's ever been under a contract cannot understand that no one owes you money that they don't owe you. No, don't get me wrong. If you wait for money and you were promised money, you should be delivered money. If you negotiated money and you execute it as per the contract and there's been satisfaction on the execution, then you should be paid money. But you can't just sit down in one spot and pray that by some means, like manna from heaven, money will drop out of the sky. I'll tell you this, there are members of the police, Royal Bahamas Police Forces, Police Reserve Division, many of whom work at the dark of night. Many of whom are doing jobs that some people wouldn't even consider. Many of whom have to risk life, limb, and possibly health, and even freedom. Because when you consider the fact that they ask these people to go and arrest criminals who have access to enormous amounts of money and then suggest that they could give the people $5 an hour for doing it, I believe that they want them to become susceptible to lives of crime. But those people haven't been paid for almost 2 months. But the Prime Minister say he fined money. The Prime Minister could have taken that same money and brought the reservists completely up to pay. That he don't owe them another cent. Right? Instead, you know what the Prime Minister do? The Prime Minister say being a reserve is a part-time job. These people, they full-time employees. Yes, I already raised the minimum wage. Yes, I already raised the national insurance pension. Let me tell you what I could do extra for them though. After I done raise the minimum wage, after I take VAT down to 10% across the board, I find this little bit of money, you all care that $300, at least you all ain't got to worry about where grocery coming from this week. At least you ain't got to worry about how you renting your one-bedroom apartment this week. Courtesy of Philip Edward Davis. And I think I could hear the Spirit of the Lord telling me that someone out there somehow assuming that I singing for some supper. And to that, man, your ma. That's what I want to say. There, I said it. Because you have to know that there's a very thin line between the things that make sense and the things that just do not make sense. And this is among the things that do not make sense. Do we have you said we have the clip from the Prime Minister on the step of the stadium? Producer? All right, let's go to the clip from the Prime Minister on the step of the stadium. And he's just in shock and dismay that these people still talking but striking. Here's the Prime Minister.
Head on the fallout surrounding salary adjustments. This comes on the heels of confirmation from the Minister of Economic Affairs that the payments have been issued and new clarity from the Office of the Prime Minister on how those funds were allocated. Adelana Roker has the details in our top story tonight.
I'm disappointed that they're not. The increases is something that I gave to them, and they will have an opportunity to during the course of their negotiations for their new industrial agreement to raise those issues there. That was not a matter that was negotiated by them. It was something I did for them.
Prime Minister Philip Davis says he too is disappointed by some of the aggrieved responses from public servants after the government confirmed that salary reviews for the 17,000 public officers have been completed.
Every officer has received an increase. Every officer has received the retroactive amount owed.
Among those still unsatisfied is Bahamas Public Service Union President Kingsley Ferguson. He claims the union was completely sidelined during the review process and is questioning how the increases were allocated, particularly to officers who he argues may not have the required credentials.
We have persons in the public service that are not qualified by their standards but are doing the work. We're unable to say what justification was used by the Loud and Touche to arrive at the results that the government so-called received. If there's going to be a form of increase, then allow the increase to be the same for every individual straight across the board.
The Office of the Prime Minister, however, is standing firm, insisting the review was thorough, fair and structured. Officials say even those at the lowest grade levels received meaningful adjustments.
With respect to the latter point, a decision was made to start with senior and middle managers, as they had the widest degree of discrepancies weighted against the quasi-public service. On a percentage basis, the lower level staff benefited the most from the exercise, as fixed increments were provided.
To clear up confusion, the Prime Minister's office also released an illustration showing exactly how the increases were applied.
For example, an employee in the M6 scale who was making minimum wage in January 2022 would have experienced an increase in salary of 27.5% through wage adjustments excluding increments. For a trained teacher, the increase would have been 19.8%. In addition, the latest increase of 1,400 would be equivalent to the largest annual increase given to any trained teacher in the BUT's latest industrial agreement.
And when asked whether the BPSU would align with the BUT President Belinda Wilson, who has hinted at possible industrial action, Ferguson had this to say.
I like to exhaust diplomacy, and I think we need to seek to sit and get an understanding of the way forward before anything of that nature happens.
While the review is now final, dissatisfaction remains on all sides. Delano Roker, Eyewitness News.
And so if you heard what I heard in the report just now from the union president, while some of the people are not qualified by their standards, you mean by the standards of the people that pay in the money? While some of the people are not qualified by their standards, the standards of the people paying the money, you all have them doing the job. So you mean they should be happy we ain't firing them then? Because if they're unqualified, we should simply end their employment. Because I'll tell you, it only doesn't matter until it actually matters. A fella could fly a plane up and down and it don't matter until he kills someone in this plane. Then all of a sudden, oh Jesus, we need to find a way to stop the fellas from flying people to Andres every day. And these are the things that are cringeworthy, man, because if we are seriously trying to build a nation, you can't say everybody should have received the same thing. When you know full well that there are some people who are A, qualified, and some people that are B, not. That discrepancy in itself should create some disparities. Explain to me, how do you, in your right mind, as a person who is fair and impartial and God-fearing, man, do you say out of your mouth, well, there are some people that are qualified, and then there's some people that are not qualified by their standard. By whose standard? And you assume that we should just rain money from heaven. Brave David should just summons money from where He-Man used to summon his power from? I don't get it. And then he says, oh, I like to execute diplomacy. What diplomacy? And you then march on the Prime Minister? There is no more diplomacy for you. The only thing the Prime Minister interested in is when am I legally obligated to go back to a negotiation? Because other than that, I'm not talking to these people. Diplomacy, my foot. I don't have no more diplomacy for y'all. And I lost it when y'all come out of the meeting and go and talk to the news while we were still actively negotiating, because that wasn't diplomatic. I lost it when I come out and tell you all, I can give you all the money in December, and you still march these people downtown. That's when the diplomacy gone out the window. So tell me, which kind of diplomacy are you expecting, seeking, or wanting from the Prime Minister? Because I have no ability to be diplomatic any further. I don't know. And at this point, I think the Prime Minister deserves a Nobel Peace Prize, if you ask me, because this stuff reeks of choreographed chaos. That is what this looks like to me. It looks like a storm in a teacup. And I want, desire, expect, and anticipate better from Belinda Wilson, because I believe that she's one of the good ones. And none of these people could tell me what is the Prime Minister's transgression. Is his transgression that he overpromised something that he didn't even have to promise? What in fact did the Prime Minister get wrong? And but for the fact that you all know that he would hate to be an old man and the leader of the opposition, and as much as we ain't sure we want an old man as Prime Minister, he would rather suffer a terrible fate than to become opposition to a country where Michael Pinter is the Prime Minister. You all should know that against him. Don't move. We'll be back.
It's time for Quick Draw. Get out your tickets now. We're playing Quick 2, 3, and 4. Good luck!
This is Freedom March.
Welcome back to Freedom March. Thank you so much for staying with us through the break. I'm Levin Miller. You're listening to us on 103.5 The Beat FM. That's all I can guarantee for right now. I think we're on 224, are we? I think we're on 112. And you might also be watching me on Facebook. Praise the Lord. So, I'm about to wrap that point up, right? But if you remember how I started by saying that sometimes when a person becomes old, it may not even be money. It may not even be self-actualization, like Maslow argues. It might simply be the fact that they are not prepared to live without certain luxuries. You want to go to birthdays before I go to my next clip? All right, let's get some birthdays out of the way then. Oh boy, who do we have here? We have birthday for Crystal Lewis. I would like to wish Miss Crystal Lewis in Brooklyn a happy birthday from her husband, her children, her grandchildren, her sisters, her nephew, nieces, her mother, Mildred Roberts, and who else is this? Especially the Hilltop Warriors John Canoe group in Brooklyn. Brooklyn have a John Canoe group? Well, there's only 9 of them there. Who does watch the John Canoe while the John Canoe going past? Anyway, and so Dr. Ralph, like I tell you, has recently been voted out of office, right? He has recently lost the prime ministership after 25 years. But can I tell you that watching the rallies, watching the lead up to the election, only Ralph won. Didn't realize Ralph was losing. And if you listen to a lot of the things that he was saying from a rally stage, some of this stuff was borderline fear-mongering and borderline scare tactics, in my view, which suggests that he really didn't have any message to run on. He didn't have any national message that would resonate with the people, and more of it was, oh, don't pick them because they could do this thing, don't pick them because they could do that thing, etc., etc. Versus, we're going to use this plan to eradicate crime. Which is a big issue down there. We're going to use this plan to get the economy up and running. Here is the youth plan. His almost sounded like he was trying to protect his personal piece of the pie. And that is worrisome because now he finds himself as an old man with nobody else in his party that has won a seat. And so he has to stay on until, I guess he dies. He says until something, a more propitious, I like when they start using those kind of words. Hey, producer, he waiting on a more propitious set of circumstances. Boy, what could be more propitious than this? You 79, only you win a seat. You only have no election for 5 more years. You have agreed to stay on as leader of the opposition. What propitious set of circumstances do you suspect will happen for you in 5 years? You'll be 84. It might be time to go see Jesus. There's nothing propitious happening for you. But you didn't have to be here. You could have resigned as prime minister. And then you would have every pleasantry, every perk, every benefit. You didn't have to worry about the people getting ready to castigate you as the leader of the opposition. I can't imagine the bludgeoning you will take. As a matter of fact, if I was you, I would only come on the days I was speaking. The days I wasn't speaking, I wouldn't even be there. Because I don't have to tolerate that. I 79, what they can do to me? Not vote me back in? Ha! I'll be dead. Too bad. And then you start saying things like, and if y'all don't extend every courtesy to me, in an almost 19-minute long address, that's the only reason why I'm playing it, because it was so long. You talk about how you go right to this one in the CARICOM, that thing and this thing and best practice for how a prime minister should be treated. And all I'm saying is, you sign up to be leader of the opposition, my friend. But I get it. You need to hold on to something. Because you couldn't imagine going from being prime minister of 20 years to go back to be Joe Public. And so it makes you desperate. It makes you want to do all the things that you ordinarily wouldn't even consider. But it is my recommendation not to let this beating cause you to become, is the word despotic? Don't become that. Hold your head up high, knowing that you've been the champion of the people for 24 years, and hide somewhere in a corner. Now, let's transplant this argument home. Philip Davis, I know you old. Everyone know you old. It's not a secret. We can't imagine that we're going to go vote for a 75-year-old. But how it looked to me today, I believe that you could be making history in May when you call the election as the oldest prime minister ever elected in an independent Bahamas. And I want to assure you, I think that that's a record you can hold for a little while. Ain't no one could beat that for a long time. But I want you to begin to do two things. One, don't let people pull an unloaded gun on you. That's thing number one. You already got this in the bag. Michael ain't gonna beat you. Take my word for it. And two, well, that's if you don't, that's if Bahama don't sink or something, right? Because Christie had minutes in the bag, and then the Chinese, oh boy, them Chinese, eh? Wow, must see why they eyes small. The Chinese pulled them out from under Christie, and next thing you know, Christie ain't had no seat. They pulled the chair of the parliament with that one. But thing number two, what was thing number one? Because I forget thing number one. Thing number one is don't let them pull a loaded gun on you. Thing number two is after the PLP decimates the Free National Movement and the white man end up leading it, figure out a way to transition yourself to a place where you don't have to be considering, no matter what happened at 79 years old, if you could survive as leader of the opposition, all right? So, take me to the clip for Dr. Ralph. A matter of fact, we could just play them one at a time. So you could see the level of angst this man has, or angst he had leading up to the general election that should have let him comfortably know that he was in problems, and what he should have done was transition out of politics and write in law all the things he was to keep. And then he didn't have to worry about what they can give him. Let's go to the clip with Dr. Ralph. We have it? Let's go to the clip with Dr. Ralph. I think we have it. We're getting it. Don't move.
Certain world powers, and you don't get caught in it because your visa for America might be in some trouble under the New Democratic Party.
Think about that. That the one thing the Prime Minister, this is the Prime Minister, the Prime Minister said, you think they heard what he said? You don't get caught up listening to the New Democratic Party. Because if they win, there's a fight going on between some world powers. And your American visa might get caught up in it. This how you know you was in problem as the Prime Minister. This the biggest thing you could think to tell me on a rally stage? You've been Prime Minister for 25 years, and you ain't come here to tell me about your report card. You ain't come here to tell me about why your administration should win. No, you come here to tell me that if I don't vote for you, I might very well not have an American visa. And I know how that can make me a better Venetian, eh? And that's what they call themselves, St. Vincentians. That's not it. And they call themselves Venetians. Or Vincentians, something like that. Vincentians, that's what it is. Let's go to the next clip from Dr. Ralph, producer. We have it? Okay, let's wait a second. But, like I said, and so that is my hope. So, Prime Minister Davis, I think your pronouncements in the public sphere, don't send Latre back out here. Because people calling him little boy just make him upset. And Latre, let me tell you something. The best way, and I'm not going to say that, just don't answer them. Let them talk to the wall. That's all. Because the opposite of young is old. And when people tell you care your young self, you tell them care their old self with your old self. Ta-da! And if it's an old man, that's worse. I wish an old man would call me little boy. I'll remind him all the benefits of being a young boy have. The ones that he could no longer recall or need to go see his doctor about. You call me a little boy and you'll see. You'll need to take heart medication if you think I display. Or something to cure your depression. Because there ain't no harm in being young. Don't, if they call you a little boy, okay, and yeah. All that means is I firm in all of my positions. And all of my pronouncements are firm. That's what that means when you're young. So go away from me, old person. Yeah. You can't let them practice ageism on you and you young. You have the thing they want. They dying to be young again. And you didn't get mad at me if you call me a little boy? So don't send Trey back out there. He can't handle it. But whenever you come out here, you old, they old. If they call you old, you can say, well, they just as old as me. And y'all can just tell each other about how old y'all is, right? Then you say, and because we so old, I ain't talking to them no more but this bear. Because that's what old people could get away with doing. I said, what they can do to you? You're 74 and you're prime minister. They can't take this one from you. And they need to wait all the way till September to get the next one if you're serious. But I wouldn't recommend that going me, right? And honestly, at this point, they look like they just want row. No matter what you give them, they just want row, Prime Minister. So let them row. Ain't no harm in that. Ain't no foul in that. There's no crime in just letting people. You want row? Row till your teeth fall out. Go ahead. Whenever I come in the news, my pronouncements will be the same. I've spoken on this matter. I do not intend to speak any further. The money that was available. Okay, here's a better question. Here's a better question. I have a better question for you. You listening? The union want you to go TFA. I mean, you, Prime Minister. Because anytime people asking you for money you ain't have, what they expect for you to do to get the money? There's only two things you can do for money other than work. Thiefing is one. You know what the next one is? I think you want to do that. So where they expect you to get money from that you don't have? Because according to you, you give them all the money you had that you didn't know them or promised them or that they didn't ask for. So why are we talking about more money after they didn't get annual increases every year from you reach, raising the minimum wage since you reach, reduction in the VAT since you reach, this increment, I didn't even know what to call this, which is a double increment. That means they get one for this one and one for next year, and next year even ain't reach yet. And then according to Trey, the money on their salary and it ain't gonna never come off till from now until forevermore be. So they have money ad infinitum. So where you supposed to get the money from? This is my question. This is the question. These are the questions I have. Other than work, thieving is the only other way I know you get money. I don't know, maybe rich people have some idea about where else you get money from. I apologize. I grew up in the hood. If you don't work for money, you got to thief money. And other than working and thieving, there's only one other thing you're doing to get out for money. And you can't expect the Prime Minister to do these things, eh? So, why you all asking this man for money he ain't have? That's the question I have. Why you all asking him for money, for more money, after you all didn't get money? What's the purpose? Other than you all have just made up in your mind that you all can strike. What is the purpose of the industrial action? Unless you all just want row. And if people get to the point where they just want row, then that's all you let them do. You fan them off and tell them, go ahead and row. But my advice to the Prime Minister is to not take the bait, to not get back in the corner, to not let them pull an unloaded gun on you. Because they ain't have no bullets in this gun. They have no, and watch this, and the more they march and march and march and you don't give them nothing, guess what? That got dull in the effect. You know, like the first time your wife tell you she ain't gonna talk to you no more, or she ain't talking to you because she mad, and you really was having palpitations about that, and palpable grief about that, right? And then you realize something, you know. I make her mad the last time, and she said she wasn't talking to me. And then she ain't talked to me for 2 days. And I forget how much I did like not hearing her voice. And so when she wasn't mad, she started talking to me again. And so now I had to make up new reasons to make her mad because I was really hoping I make her mad enough to don't talk to me for 3 days. And boy, if I could get her to don't talk to me for 3 days, then the next time I make her mad, I'm gonna go for full 5 days. Because eventually, the sting of her not talking to me will become something that I thoroughly and completely enjoy. And so the same is to be had here. When they march and you don't answer them, Prime Minister, like right now, you don't shoot out the engines, they dead in the water. There's nothing happening for them. You tell them you wasn't going to get them the money, they march. They march, tell the woman almost had seizure in the parking lot. She's foaming out the mouth crying for this money, right? You say, I ain't have it. You see anything happen? No. The next time they say they wanted to do something, you see anybody show up? No. I blame you for giving them this money in November. Other than that, we wouldn't even been talking about this. But this wouldn't have been nothing for us to talk about till December. And poor Pia, they can blame her, They can say, oh, the Ministry of Public Service. But it ain't Pia. The Prime Minister let these people push him in a corner in November and give them money that he didn't tell them wasn't coming till December. You say December have a pay period, right? Okay, that before Christmas, right? Yeah, well. But the problem is, because you're old and you don't want to be an old leader of the opposition, you just out here trying to play all your hands, and that ain't necessary is what I'm trying to tell you, Mr. Prime Minister. Take a page from Ralph Gonsalves or Dr. Ralph, let's call him that. It ain't necessary to play some of these cards. Because it looks desperate. And when it looks desperate, yeah, it doesn't engender confidence. And if you're not engendering confidence, then the people ain't gonna vote for you. And guess what you getting up as? An old leader of the opposition. And that is far worse than being an old prime minister or an old man who retired from prime ministership who was able to write all his own benefits down. So at any point it start looking not good, just resign as the prime minister and write down what you want, and now no one can take it from you. And you don't have to keep pandering to the whim of these people. Oh, you're raising my pressure up in here. We have the clip ready? Let's go to the clip. No? The second clip with Dr. Ralph. There's two. One is with him in the newspaper. The other one, there's another one to the bottom. Not there? I don't know what happened to it. I don't know. Don't blame us. We're having technical difficulties. We could go to the line. Let's go to the phone line. All right, y'all come join me in the conversation. 323-7775, 698-0775. We apologize for whatever technical difficulties we're having. Don't blame us. It's lightning. Blame the lightning. Y'all saw the lightning? It was lightning. 323-7775, 698-0775. That's the numbers to call here on Freedom March, as we are talking about the Prime Minister, as we are talking about the unions, and in my view, their unfair tactics that are almost draconian, if you ask me. Every time I hear the word industrial action, the follicles of my hair just tingle a little bit. Because what you mean? What you mean you striking? March where? For what? Well, I ain't have no money. Now what? Now what you can march for? Because I ain't got it. That's it. Oh, boy. Hello, caller. Welcome to Freedom March. They tell me calls on the line. Hello, caller. Welcome to Freedom March.
Hello.
Hey.
Miller, how you doing?
All right.
Do you realize it's just Melinda and Kingsley Ferguson, they always have a problem? Don't mind how much money you give these guys. They just continue just coming behind the government for, I don't know what reason, but they just continue doing it. And it's like, somebody's watching union leaders. These are the two most painful leaders I ever come across. They just, for some reason, I don't want to say silly, but it seems like they have a problem.
Yeah. My question is, how are they just...
Like you said, it's close to Christmas. I wouldn't even have no talks with them. Like you said, let them march, and I even wouldn't go and pay them no mind. Let them do what they want to do.
See, but you have to understand, the Prime Minister, in my view, is doing... He obviously trying to win Mr. Congeniality, apparently. Right? Because he fears being unpopular. And what I'm saying is, right now, this Prime Minister is riding such a wave that if you offend a minority union, I really think it could be consequential.
No.
You have BAMU. You have Becca Wu. You have a million other union around here. You trying to tell me I can let these two union raise up my pressure? Man, I'll see y'all next year. But the Prime Minister seems hell-bent on continuing to try to figure out what it is they need. When caller, I will argue, they don't know what they need because they ain't asked for nothing. Anyway, thank you very much. 323-777-5698-0775. Hello, caller. Welcome to Freedom March.
Sivan.
Hey, turn your radio down. Turn your radio down.
Turn it closer to me, Levon.
Hey.
The room door. Listen to me. The thing with the union people, if they feel like they're getting crumbs or they feel like they ain't getting it, just tell the people give it back.
But
they don't spend it. Just give it back to the government.
But obviously, you ain't know Bahamians very well. You mean give back the money which you all gave them last week, Thursday?
Yeah, just give it back. If the president them mad because they did not chance to negotiate for it, and the prime minister just felt well and giving it to them, tell them give it back.
Here's my question: How do you agree you ain't asked for nothing? How do you agree that they ain't owe you nothing? How do you agree that they ain't promised you nothing? How do you
and
then
people turn around and give you something?
Hold on. How do you then say that the people who asking for the money ain't qualified, man? Did you hear the union president say that?
I don't know what it is. But let me say this to you.
Oh, Jesus, wept.
Let me tell you my prophecy, what I see for the next, after the next election.
Mm-hmm.
The PLP will go into this next election in 2026 with Mr. Davis as the leader. And I want you to tell me if I make sense.
Mm-hmm.
He go halfway in, then go with Mr. Chester Cooper and Sabas Bastian.
Hold on now, you're going too far.
Listen, let me say my piece and then I can listen to you.
Go ahead.
He go with Chester Cooper as leader, Sabas as deputy, and the next election you'll have a new breed, Sabas Bastian and Latrey Rami.
See, but the problem, okay, so let me tell you why I say you're going too far with Sabas, right? You listening? Sabas only 44.
That's all right.
Hold on. I just listened to you. Now you're getting like these Bahamian women. I just listened to you. You must can listen to me.
I listening.
All right. Sabas only 44. If Sabas does 5 years in government this first time, he'll be 49.
Yeah.
Right? If you lose him in leadership, right, he will have to resign. They'll ask him to step down. You listen, because what's the possibility? We ain't had a government do 2 terms in 30 years. What's the possibility that the government will do 3 terms? You following me?
This time he can be 2.
Okay, so this time, listen. So at 44, Sabas will very well join the next government in a 2-term government. If Brave steps down and make Sabas deputy and Chester leader, here is where the problem comes in. If they do not survive the blast in 5 years, at 49, he will be deputy leader and people will be calling for his head. Now, what you do is you send, because you know, you could make a woman in charge opening a dog kennel and people will celebrate her and talk about how she was pioneering and the first of her kind. You know that, right? Okay, because
so you put PA.
Right. You need a woman. It have to be a woman the next time. So
you put Pia.
So you get a formidable woman. It can't be Glennis. Glennis old.
No, maybe.
Right. So you get a woman who is seasoned enough. She ain't got no children to raise. All her children big, and at least she's formidable. You know how you know she's formidable? Because the unions would rather attack the prime minister than to go attack the minister. You notice that?
Yeah, but look, they don't attack the minister of education. She never bother with Glennis. She always go to the prime minister. She never bother with
Glennis
with the minister of education.
Is like a political pot cake in a white area. She just all our pot cake. Nobody want to do no harm to her. Everybody's leave a little bowl out for her. Everybody's leave a little water out for her. She's ours.
Yeah.
Anyway, we gotta go to the break. This is Freedom March.
It's time for Quick Draw. Get out your tickets now. We're playing Quick 2, 3, and 4. Good luck!
This is Freedom March.
Welcome back to Freedom March. Thank you so much for staying with us to the break. I'm Lever Miller. I think you're listening to us on 103.5 The Beat. I think you're listening to us on channel 224. I think you're listening to us on channel 112 and possibly on ILTV Studios. But wherever you are listening to us, thank you. I want to let you hear just a little piece of this acceptance of the leader of the opposition role by Dr. Ralph. And again, you can hear in his voice just the absolute regret for some of the decisions that he made, and possibly even a decision to not step away earlier. All right, so let's go for it, eh?
I yet again reaffirm from the depths of my unconquerable soul and the undiminished spirit of my being, my deep and enduring love for my constituents and all the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It is a love that is a never fixed mark that looks on tempests and is never shaken. It is a love that brings immense joy, but also occasions pain. The weeping may endure for a night, but joy cometh in the morning. Hallelujah for the joy. I assure each and every one of you that in the fell clutch of the circumstance of my party's defeat, I have not winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeonings of chance, my head is bloodied but unbowed. Fate, history, and circumstance have conspired to accord me another role after the near 25 years of dutiful service to you as your Prime Minister. I shall with dignity, duty, and love assume the role of leader of the opposition until propitious circumstances determine otherwise. I have trod this road before. It is not unfamiliar to me. Please be assured that the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. It is my lot to accept, indeed prefer, a strenuous life to one of ignoble ease. There remain in me no personal vanities or demons to overcome. I accept, after prayerful consideration, that I have been set apart and blessed for a time like this. But clearly I cannot and would not proceed alone. Across our lands and seas today, the many thousands of the defeated Labour Army are in shock and pain. So too are the other thousands who opted wrongly, in my view, to stay at home for this or that reason, rather than embrace Labour's large and compelling vision of owning our future. I truly feel your pain. Still, now is not the time for pity or wallowing in the despond of despair. It is now more urgent than ever for all of us, including those who deserted the family of Labour, to defend the immense gains which our people have come to know and accept over the past near 25 years of ULP governance, and to advance them further.
And so that's some more of the painful acceptance of the leader of the opposition speech from Dr. Ralph. I can let you all have some more of it, I promise. Let's go to the phone lines. Hello, caller. Welcome to Freedom March. I mean, he blames everybody in the world, the people across the ocean, the people who stay home, and y'all have to let go of this voter apathy thing as though democracies aren't in fact that. Democracy. You get to vote if you feel like voting. If you don't feel like voting, then you get to don't vote. But what you could be assured of is that nobody will stop you from voting. Hello, caller. Welcome to Freedom March.
Hello.
Hey.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, Anton, what's up?
Oh, hey, good afternoon. Well, I couldn't tell I was on.
Mm-hmm.
How you doing, Evan?
Hi, good.
What you getting now, sir?
Just you and me, Anton. Go ahead.
Oh, okay, cool. With regards to that conversation, which you had with regards to leadership from the TLP and the direction that we should go, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't typically participate in these kinds of conversations in public forums, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I believe firmly, with everything in me, that a part of the makeup of the next PLP leadership is going to be honorable. And that's a part of the next makeup of the PLP leadership will certainly include someone from the opposite sex and you and I. No question.
Hold on. It's gonna include someone of the opposite sex, is what you said.
Yes, sir.
I think it has to. I don't think you're gonna get away with two man again.
No, it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. Females in the country are ready for it. Within the PLP cabinet, are several ladies who are more than prepared. Leader amongst all, Selena Santa Martin, who is prepared. Cabinet experience, battle ready, battle tested, the most experienced of them all, right?
Mm-hmm.
The leader amongst women in politics in this country, and I would even put it in this region, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of course, there's your lady, right?
Mm-hmm.
Your vote of confidence, who is very competent. And then, of course, there's my lady, who is very competent. My lady of business, let me get it right. My lady of business, who is very competent, battle tested, and ready, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of course, we have Excellency Leslie Miller Price.
You won't tell me who your lady is, though.
Oh, sorry. Man, you always said, so you know what? You're right. I took for granted. The Honorable Robert Colby Davis, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Honorable Pia Glover Rule. Your lady, when I say your lady, the Honorable Pia Glover Rule. I think everybody in the country know that, right? My lady, the Honorable Robert Colby Davis.
So let's stop right there. Hold on, Anton. I want to engage you. Hold on.
Yes, sir.
I think Jobette will have the same issue that Sabahas has. She's 39, isn't she?
She's a young one, 40.
Okay. So not the third go, because then you run the risk of losing her. It's like if Darren had not won in Golden Knights, you all would lose him.
Yes.
So you're right. You'd have to let her get in the queue. You'd have to let her get in the queue. Pia is what, 48?
Pia is in my set, yeah.
Right.
She's more in my
and
set.
all of her children is woman.
Right.
Which means only thing she have time to do is go to the Ministry of Public Service.
Is to get in and do the damage.
Right.
vote one side.
And it is unfair, but those are the women that do well in politics. Glennis enjoys that. The problem with Glennis is she's 70. And I don't know. I mean, I know the Bible says that a man shall live on the earth for 120 years.
I don't consider that a problem, even.
But you
the
have...
reason why, once you have sound mind, good judgment, and you're able to execute the duty,
yes,
that's all we need.
Yes, but can we agree? Can we agree that if you... Can we agree, Anton, that if you watch the former president of the United States of America, what you know is that over 70, the decline can be rapid.
It can be, but
that's
what
all I'm saying.
Also know, hey, Levin, you're see, that's one of the reasons why I like talking with you. You're a realist. You're a man of the street. You're a man of the book. You're a man of the cloth. So you understand the various perspectives that go into making the perfect mix. Right? And we all know that, unfortunately for us as men age much faster, unfortunately, than women, right?
Yeah.
Our fall comes much more quickly and much more harder than women. We find that in our old age, if we don't get our act together and find that partner who can put up with our nonsense, Stephen, right?
Yeah.
We find that unless you get money, like you, I can say like me, right?
Yeah.
Unless you get money like you and you can afford that nurse to take care of you, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Because the woman has to take care of you.
The woman will be gone.
Even if she's the emergency.
Yeah.
She's the one who has the strength to carry forward, to get things done around.
I thought you was going in another direction, Anton, because you can need money. You can need money to even get a woman, because you know Laura. Listen, man. When Smokey asked Laura, Anton, right?
You can need some money to buy them pills, you know.
No.
When you get down to that stage, my brother, that blood pressure will rest.
All you got to do is eat a little bit of cassava, Anton, and if that don't work, stand on your hand, because when you stand on your hand, everything pointing towards your head.
On your third leg.
Yeah. So Anton, what I was going to say is when Smokey asked Laura, so Laura, tell me what he's got that I ain't got. You know what Laura say? He got money.
It makes a difference.
Yeah.
And it makes the world go
absolutely.
Round.
So back to the point. Joe Bet should sit the next one out in a leadership race.
And I'll tell me before you let me go.
All right? Because the gap that Mr. Christie made by staying for that third term
it created an issue.
Has vacuumed out all of the leadership.
It created an issue.
Correct.
And guess what? That doesn't only exist in the PLP. That exists in the workforce. That exists at the management level.
Yeah.
With the country, that exists at the top tier level.
Yeah.
And especially exists at wealth creation levels where you have the people who already have and who already been eating all for the last 50 years, still at the table trying to eat.
I say this without fear of contradiction. I believe that Mr. Christie's one political career wiped out about 9 promising political careers. Wipe them out.
Boy, Levan, God moves in mysterious ways too.
Yeah.
I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
And as a result, we have the Honorable Philip Ray Davis, who is Prime Minister today, right?
Yeah.
He was the sleeper in there, right? And he is the leader. And like you said, he was one of them, of the 4 who survived.
Yeah.
And so you got to survive and make it through the round.
You got to survive.
And sometimes that puts you in a position, as you can tell, what is going on in the aftermath. If certain other people have survived, it's nowhere in the world, no disrespect, but nowhere in the world, Clive Rick would have been the deputy.
Man, absolutely. And I want to tell you that should he not survive the blast this time, boy, he better pray to God they still need one general manager over by Tingham now. Man, Anton, you can get me in problems.
Let me end with this.
Yeah.
Before you tell me you ought to show, you ought to try, but not sure, right?
Yeah.
Mr. Miller, as you pointed out, and as we joked about it in a jovial manner, right? But in a serious manner, money makes the world go round, right?
Yes.
And we have some of the most wealthiest politicians who are in the cabinet currently, but in particular, who are offering in the 2026 general elections, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I had this conversation with some leaders from around the country in the different sectors recently. Listen, the PLP is a party of principles. We're a party of morals. We're a party where you have to pay your dues, right? Which is why I respect the former executive at Doctor's Hospital. I can't remember his name right now, but it's just memory. A great doctor, right? Great athlete in his time, right? He said that he didn't want to put his hat in the ring at this time, although he was being encouraged to, because he respects protocol. He respects the chain. He respects persons who have been in there spoiling and turning the soil, right? In order to prepare the soil for the harvest, right?
Yep.
We have the same situation that's going to play a magnificent difference, and who comes out ahead after this dispensation of Mr. Philip Davis' leadership.
All right, Anton.
However, he will play a part. He will play a part, I'm certain of it, in who rises to the top and replaces him as the leader whenever that time comes.
I can tell you one thing. Yeah, all right, Anton. Huh? I said, okay, all right. All right, but I will tell you this, right? You don't bet all your chips on a retired horse, my friend, because only he who has power, and he who has no power has no power. All right, let me let y'all hear a little bit more of Ralph, Dr. Ralph, and this. Oh, Lord, it was so sad to see him go this way.
Believe me this.
Producer, if you have a picture of Dr. Ralph Gonzalez, put the picture up so they know what he looked like.
It is the moment of the start of their descent, and descend they will. The unraveling usually commences imperceptibly, and then becomes a flood of disarray, as the center cannot hold and things fall apart. History and experience so teach. And in our fast-changing world, the clock of their demise is already ticking. So what is the line of march that the leadership of the ULP is providing? First, we must understand that our political setback is temporary and must be altered into a permanent advance. Thus, let us turn this setback into an advance. Secondly, there must be renewal. Renewal, rebuilding is sweet. Indeed, it is the sweetest of life's experiences. And within and outside the Labour family, there is abundant material, some even hidden or submerged, which is available for renewal. In doing so, we must listen to our parents and grandparents, but also to our daughters and our sons. The ultimate purpose of this renewal is to make a whole daughter and a whole son, unbroken, not necessarily perfect ones, out of the compromises and contradictions that our history and circumstances have made us. Thirdly, we must defend resolutely our gains and advance them further. And fourthly, we must resist also resolutely, in every material particular, any attempt by the new regime to sell out St. Vincent and the Grenadines or its patrimony. Everyone knows what I'm talking about. There is thus a clear roadmap for us on the way forward. Details will emerge. Already, there are disturbing undercurrents that are emanating from certain quarters within or closely aligned to the new regime. Threats of political persecution and political victimization are already being openly and not so openly ventilated, not only against me and my immediate family, but far more importantly against Labour supporters and activists, especially those in the public sector, but also in the private sector. Be assured that active political resistance, peacefully and legally, will meet any such political persecution or victimization. I can be relied upon to lead such a resistance. Do not mistake the strength of my will in this regard. I shall be reasonable in striving, seeking, and finding, but I will not yield to injustice, unfairness, bad governance, or the selling out of my country. This magnificent component of our Caribbean civilization, to which I have devoted my entire life in service. On a personal note, I expect that as a former Prime Minister, especially one of many years of service, that I shall be accorded all the usual courtesies and privileges attendant upon the former holders of this high office in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, consonant with the practices of civilized nations. Any derogation therefrom will be brought to the attention of the national, regional, and international communities for corrective action. Tomorrow, I am convening a meeting of the collective leadership of our great party to receive advice on the two individuals to be appointed as senators in our unicameral legislature. Clearly, given the lopsided majority of the new regime in the parliament, we in the opposition will be routinely outvoted. But the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines will judge us on the basis of the quality of our work, which I assure you will be of the highest standard.
And so, you hear Dr. Ralph crying and hollering, oh, please, please, oh, Jesus, don't take my car. That's basically what I translated. Please don't take my outrider. Lord, don't make me sit in traffic. Don't make me be a regular citizen again. When he could have just resigned in time. And if he did resign in time, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be having this speech. But, somehow Caribbean politicians, they just like to hold on. And you know, that's what I like about Westminster, you know. Westminster has this humbling effect, right? And it is that humbling effect that I think keeps the power as the people's. Because either you will do what we say, or we will just beat you back into a pauper. That's very simple. You go back and be a peasant with the rest of us. Because the rest of us down here practice in poverty. And while being Prime Minister wasn't the most high-paid salary, I'll tell you one thing, you wasn't no pauper. Then you wasn't standing on no line. And they served grape to all government meeting. That's the only place I could afford to eat grapes, actually. Yeah? So there'll be no more grapes for you. You come join the line in the supermarket with the rest of us. And I don't care who in the international arena you tell or regional arena. Too bad. Next time, you'll retire quick enough so you can set up your own rules and protocols for what you should have as a former Prime Minister. And you wouldn't have to leave it to the whims and fancy of a fella that nobody even like. And while we at it, Philip Davis, please, this is my one. Please send Robin Lyons to the Senate. Don't waste time. Don't waste time with some of them names I see. I mean, not for my sake, man, but for Christ's sake, all right? Let's go back to the phone line. 323-7775. I know Robin Lyons ain't asked me to tell you all that. As a matter of fact, she said she ain't want to go, but I think that's the best person for you all to send. And she's a woman. You can't beat that. Hello, caller. Turn the radio down. Hello, caller.
Hello.
Hi.
Good afternoon. Mr. Miller, how you doing?
Hi, good.
Okay, Mr. Miller. I'm calling concerning
turn your radio down.
Public Service Union. They had one more agreement with the government. So Chief Melinda will send them sit down and wait for that last agreement, because Mr. Ferguson time will be up in September. But I really call you to say, concerning after our Prime Minister have already gotten his second term as the Prime Minister. I don't know if Glennis will still be here, but you know our party will say, we ain't ready for no woman as leadership. But if the party was ready for a lady of leadership, I would have put my own member of Parliament, Glennis Hannah Martin. Now, I know that wouldn't happen because I don't know if Glennis' time will be up. But I will put Miss Pia Rose as the Deputy Prime Minister of this country because she's a hard-working person and she's true to her word. I'll always put Miss Pia as the Deputy Prime Minister. Okay? Now, firstly they'll say, well, Sabah this week, so he have to wait his turn. Now, I don't know who else right now, who you can put there as the Prime Minister. I ain't getting in that. I'm not going to get in that.
You scared to say just the Goubet?
I'm that piece right now, but I'm going with Tia Rose for Deputy Prime Minister.
All right.
Now,
Well, a Deputy Prime Minister need a Prime Minister now. Don't forget that.
Sir. Yes, sir. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. I don't want to really come out to say nothing but no Prime Minister.
Okay.
Because you have some people on the ground now working as Prime Minister for when Mr. Philip Brave Davis leaves.
Mm-hmm.
So I know I'm going behind Tia Rose.
Okay. All right.
That's who I'm going with. I'm plain speaking.
Well, I can't blame him, you know. If you suck the breast of the Prime Minister, I expect for you to tap your foot to the tune of his flute as well.
Sir.
Yeah, all right. No problem.
Okay, you have a good evening.
Yeah. See, that's why I don't suck breasts. I just, see that? Be like me. Don't suck breasts. All right, we got time for another call. Let's go to the phone line. Hello, caller.
Hi, everybody. How are you?
Hi, good.
Great. My other here, Mr. Cooper, is doing an excellent job as Deputy Prime Minister. And whenever the Prime Minister decides he wants to go into the sunset, and if Mr. Chesapeake is around and continuing to do the job that he's doing, he's fully qualified to be Prime Minister or leader material. But I want to call just a quick note in reference to this spending strike. I am so concerned about our students in this country, and I would like to know, what I want to find out from the leadership of this country, is there a contingency plan in place? Right now, you have exams coming up. You have so many things going on with these students in the schools. Is there a plan for them to be able to take these exams on time? You understand, so their education and their milestones are met. I just want to put that out there. I don't know if you have any idea or...
Well, I don't think they have a plan, right, caller? But you want me to be honest, or you want my, like, for TV answer?
See you.
Okay. These children been getting D from I was 12. They miss a year yet where the national average wasn't a D, all right? Which again begs the question, how come these teachers keep asking me for more money and they don't seem to have what it takes to change the circumstance? Now, I get it. You can't open Pookie head and put the knowledge in there, right? But let's just take it away from teaching. Let's just say you had a mechanic. Your car had a knock. You take it to the mechanic. The Castilian knock ain't going nowhere. You take it back to the mechanic. The knock still ain't going nowhere. You drive the car for 5 years. The car still knocking. You don't think it's time we look at the mechanic?
Do they do their evaluations? Are their teachers evaluating teacher by teacher to find out their productivity?
Well, you heard not only Kimsley, you also heard when we was talking earlier about the money that they said that some of the people just don't have the requisite qualifications. I don't understand how you row for money for someone who ain't qualified. That don't make sense to me.
Yeah, we need to listen to that. I really...
Anyway, that jingle means I out of time.
Okay.
All right. This has been Freedom March. Thank you so much for staying with us here today. I believe in Billa. We'll see you here again on Freedom March tomorrow.